Hey guys, welcome to the best books I read in September. I didn't have a ton of books that I really loved this month. I have four on the list. Um, the first one I want to talk about is She Eats the Night, the first book, or the first volume, I should say, in the Night Eaters series, graphic novel series. And this is by Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda, and hopefully I said their names right. But they also wrote the Monstrous graphic novel series, which is kind of a dark fantasy epic graphic novel series. This one is more of kind of a modern day paranormal series about a sister and a brother who are like trying to run a restaurant during COVID. They're kind of struggling a little bit. They move back in with their parents and they find out some interesting things about both their mom and their dad. Um, Absolutely love the illustration style and stuff in here. It's just very beautiful. The story was really entertaining, and so were the characters. So I'm very much looking forward to read the second volume of this, which I actually just got because it just came out earlier in October. So I'll be reading that soon. But I would really recommend this if you like kind of a dark, like a paranormal themed uh, graphic novel series with a lot of fantasy themes. This is going to be a trilogy, so unlike Monstrous, it should end relatively soon. Monstrous is still ongoing, but I really like this. The second book I read and really enjoyed was kind of a surprise for me, and that was The Rosewood Hunt by Mackenzie Reed. This one reminded a lot of Jennifer Lynn's Barn Inheritance trilogy. It's about a young woman who is being groomed to be like a fashion designer for her grandmother's company, and then her grandmother mysteriously dies, and the way the will is written, basically nobody in the family really gets anything. The treasure has been hidden, and she ends up going on kind of this treasure hunt through the town to find out what the story is behind her grandmother and her fortune. So it was really well done. I really enjoyed it. It was very fast paced, very engaging, and I just really liked it, and I was surprised about how much I did love it. The third book I read and really enjoyed is another fairly popular one, and that is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This is the first book in the Alex Stern series. This is kind of a modern urban fantasy paranormal type of series, much different from the Geisha trilogy or that whole world. This actually takes place in the mom world, and it's about a character named Alex who is her real name is actually Galaxy, but Alex, who is she starts at Yale as a student, but she's part of this group called Leafy, where their whole job is to kind of regulate and monitor the secret societies of Yale, and all the secret societies of Yale do these like rituals that are magical, that give the members kind of a step up in the world in some way, shape, or form. But Leafy is kind of the police for them. They're supposed to make sure these secret societies aren't abusing their power, they're not hurting people, and that the magic isn't exposed to the rest of the world. This was very well done. I enjoyed it a lot. It is very, I'll just say gritty. I guess it's gory. There's a lot of violence. There's some sexual violence. I mean, it's pretty dark in general, but I really enjoyed how the world was built, and I really loved the characters, and there's a pretty good mystery in here and some intriguing magic, and I really liked it. And so I do have the second book in the series Hellbent to read, and I will be reading that pretty soon. But I really like Ninth House. If you really like dark urban fantasy or dark paranormal fantasy with like a lot of mystery, I would definitely recommend it. But it is dark. It's violent. It's gory. It's dark, but I thought it was really good. The next one and the last one that I read in September that I really loved was The Scarlet Alchemist. So this is book one in the Scarlet Alchemist duology by Kylie Lee Baker. This is another one that was pretty dark. It's set in kind of historic China, I believe. And not really, it's a fantasy world, but kind of. And it's about a girl who's an alchemist, so she can actually use elements and stuff like that to raise people from the dead. Supposedly there's a cost for that. She doesn't know what it is, but her and her siblings are very determined to go to the capital and test into a school, while they'll be trained so that they can make good money, and they're very poor right now, so very excited about that. But she goes and she ends up competing at this school for a position as an alchemist. And this is another pretty dark one. They're raising the dead. There's a pretty big cost for that, as the main character finds out. There's a lot of twists and turns in the story, so things as they start in the beginning are not what they are as the story continues. There's a bit of a love story in there, kind of, and it's just one of these very kind of, I don't want to say like grimdark fantasies, but like it's close. People are very mean to her because she's not, I'm gonna just mess up all the terminology, but she's like dual race, and so, or biracial, however you want to say that, and so she gets ostracized by a lot of the societies there, and they're making things hard for her. She's also a woman, which women are not as elevated in this society either. Really good. I really enjoyed all the twists and turns and the mysteries, and all the action. It was super fast paced. I really loved all the alchemical magic and how they're using alchemy to do these different things. And there is an explanation of like historically how alchemy was used in China, and contrary to like the just making gold out of stuff, turning stuff into gold, in China it was more about creating potions and stuff that would make people immortal. So it was more about immortality and trying to achieve that. So very interesting, like historical commentary. A lot of the history in there seems fairly accurate, and is some discussion about that at the end of the book, like what's accurate, what's not. Also just very fast paced, very engaging, very interesting, lots of twists and turns, as I said. So really liked it. I probably talked about that too long, but so those are the 4 books that I read and really enjoyed in September. I didn't read as many books in September. There's been a lot going on in my life. So life update time, I guess. So I am still, working my new job. It's been a learning curve, I guess, good days, bad days kind of thing. It's, there's a lot that needs to be developed in this company for intellectual property, and there's some resistance, and the position I am in is kind of a new position. So a lot of trying to figure out still, like, how can I help? What is my role? So, and it's tough. It just because like I basically for the last like 25 years, I've been at different companies, but a lot of it was like similar people, like people that have moved to company as well. So kind of working with the same kind of technologies and the same people. So this has been a lot to take in. It's a whole new group of people, a completely different area of technology than I've worked in before. And so there's a lot to learn. So I guess I'm working on it. I wouldn't say it's like amazing, and I wouldn't say it's awful. Like I'm working on it. And then we have been trying to get a second house up in Duluth, Minnesota, because we spend quite a bit of time up there, and my son is talking about probably going to college up there. He's not quite sure yet. So we have been going up a lot of weekends to look at houses up there, and we did make an offer on a house up there that we were pretty excited about. But we found out that another person made an offer for slightly more, and so they ended up getting it. So we're back to the drawing board on that, and it's been kind of frustrating. We were really gonna try to get a house up there in the spring, but then we were thinking, well, houses are probably gonna be cheaper in the fall, and the prices are gonna go up in the spring, so maybe we'll go ahead and try to get something in the fall. And it's just been, it's frustrating for me because you go online and you like look at the pictures of houses and you look at the satellite images and do all this. And then when you show up at the house, I don't even know what to think anymore, because sometimes they're like so much worse than I thought they were going to be. They need so much more work, and there's just a lot of stuff we don't like about it. And then sometimes it's better. Sometimes you're like, wow, this is way better than I thought it was going to be based on, the satellite image and location, picture and description and all this stuff. So you like have to be up there looking at them in person. And we've been doing this for a few weekends in a row, and I'm getting kind of tired of it. I think we're going to take a break. There's really like no emergency or rush. Like this would be a second house for us for a while. and then eventually we'd probably move full time up there. But for now, I think we're gonna take a little break because we're getting a little frustrated with it, and it's just taking a lot of time. And I mean, we don't want that much. We want like 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. We'd like to have a garage if possible, and we just want it to be like, we don't mind doing some work and stuff as long as it's not at the type of our, like everybody, like if it's not at the top of our price point, then we don't mind doing some work and remodeling. But it has to be within reason because we are both working full time and we do have another house. Like we can't be working on it constantly. So, it has to be a reasonable amount of remodeling, and it has to be like fairly sound. Like it doesn't, the roof has to be okay and the foundation needs to be okay because we're not going to have time to do like super huge projects right away. So it's been frustrating and it's been taking a lot of time, and I think we're going to take a bit of a break here from it and then maybe recommence in the spring. I don't know. The whole housing market thing is really weird right now. And one thing we don't want to have happen is for us to have 2 houses that both like drop in value. We are trying to play cash for the second house, but we still have a mortgage on our first house, and it would, just gotta be careful. Like you don't want to be like upside down in a house and then have another house you own that's like not worth much anymore, and it could get kind of crazy. So a little bit of stress from there. So I guess in general, just kind of a bit stressful this fall. Like I'm dealing with my new job, trying to figure that out still, and we're trying to figure this house thing out. And my son is doing very well in school. Like knock on wood, he's taking a lot of challenging classes this year, but he seems to be doing pretty well on them. And he's got a job reffing hockey now, so he quit his Target job and got a job reffing hockey, which he's enjoying. He seems to be enjoying. He's been a little nervous about, but he seems to be okay with it, and he keeps signing up to do it, and they pay him pretty well. So I think it's better for him than the job he had at Target. And then, just we're going to be going to Gamehole Con later in October, so that'll be fun. And while we're out there, we're doing another college tour at Madison, University of Wisconsin-Madison for my son. So, pretty exciting. I think putting the house and Duluth thing on hold for a while will be good. It's always hard for me because I'm a big planner, and when we're like waiting to hear back on whether or not these offers get accepted, it's just, I'm trying to like start planning stuff, but I don't really have anything to plan for yet, so I need to stop doing that. But anyways, so that was a long blab about my life, but not much about books. I hope that you did read some great books in September, and please share them if you have ones you really loved. I will be doing a Stacking the Shelves next week, so I'm probably going to record that shortly after this because I've kind of been recording videos back to back. I just haven't had a lot of time to not do that. Yeah, so hope you have a great month 3 ahead of you, and I will talk to you in a week for Stacking the Shelves, and then next month for Best Books I Read in October. Bye.